Welcome to the Real Estate Show. From buying to selling and everything in between. Rochester's home for everything real estate. And now, your hosts from the Anthony Butera team of Keller Williams Realty, Greater Rochester. It's Anthony Butera and Jason Mancuso.
Hey, welcome to episode 34 of the Real Estate Show. And we fired Jason. He's gone forever. And it was just, time was coming.
Yeah.
Needed to happen.
You guys, you've heard him, you've seen him. We're just joking. He has smallpox.
Yeah. Well, I just realized, hanging out with you guys every week, that it's all being a real estate agent is meetings. Either meeting with home buyers, home sellers, or what's Jason's doing a meeting within.
Yeah, Jason.
The agency, right?
I mean, Jason is he's the CEO of the Anthony Butera team, so he is my CEO. Mm-hmm. And Jason meets with our agents. My role is a little bit different. Majority of my days actually spent outside of the team, running the day-to-day of the brokerage. So, I get almost 140 people that I get to help out, which plays well into my life and my sleep, or that lack thereof.
You don't need sleep.
I know.
Man.
It is. I really don't. I've realized that I don't need nearly as much as I thought I needed. But then you hear about, some of these athletes are sleeping 12 hours. You hear that, they sleep 12 hours a day. But, I mean...
Yeah, my wife must be a pro athlete then.
Yeah, she is.
I go to sleep at I go to sleep at 1.
Yeah.
And I usually wake up at 6:30 with the kids.
Yeah.
But she's at home with the kids all day, so I give her the mornings.
She's working out all day.
And she that makes it sound like she's cheating on me or something. Vigorous workout all day.
Yes.
And then she sleeps until 8 or 9. And then she gets a full 12.
You're a catch, man. That's pretty. That's a nice setup that she has.
I know.
That's awesome.
Sleep in.
Man.
Still wakes up kind of grumpy, groggy, oh. Get up at 6, lady.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you want to change roles?
Hanging out with the kids?
Hanging out with the kids?
I know it's one of those things where I don't do it all the time, but let's say I have a day off, I get to hang out with the kids all day. It's great.
Yeah.
But I'm sure just like work or something,
Every
you're doing
day,
it 5 days a week, you get sick of it. And
it's tough.
So.
It's tough, and it's not like her role ends when you get home, right?
It sort of does.
Maybe it does.
A little bit.
Maybe, okay, so you get the handoff as soon as you get home.
But, I think I would miss seeing other adults. I feel like that drives her insane.
Sure.
She doesn't get to see other human adults. It's all 4-year-olds.
You don't have to anymore. You have Facebook.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah, that's all. She's busy on that.
And at the house today, we have windows. Getting our windows replaced and some
Nice.
doors and stuff.
Nice.
So slowly making the house a little nicer.
And I know that you guys were toying with, potentially selling, but I think you're going to, when you're going to sell, right? The moment that every single thing is updated.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to it's going to be completely remodeled. It's going to be perfect. And that's when I usually get the phone call.
Yeah. Well, it's going to, that'll be good. Then you can sell it easier, right?
Oh, it's going to be great for me. It's going to be terrible for you. Lily's going to find some project house again, and you're going to start from square one.
Yeah. Something's going to happen because I know every kid doesn't need their own bedroom, but they're sharing right now, and isn't that the new thing? Everybody needs their own bedroom, bathroom.
I had to
study.
wait. I had to wait for both my brothers to move out to get my own bedroom.
Yeah,
and then it was wonderful.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was the best.
So it'll happen at some point, I'm sure.
But I don't. It's funny. It's our wants are so much different, and they've changed so much. Not necessarily our needs, because our wants far exceed what we truly need. But you're right. I mean, everybody with 2 kids even needs the 4-bedroom house, because one of the bedrooms is typically a home office, right? They'll take the smallest bedroom and they'll make it a home office. Then if there's 3 kids and now they're looking for 5 bedrooms or the potential for a 5th, and
right.
I don't know. I mean, I think that I always shared a room. My brothers probably wouldn't share the same thoughts around this, but I think it's good for them to have to share a room and bond and have respect for space or just beat the living hell out of each other.
Yeah, for years, my youngest brother was sleeping on a trundle bed, like he was at some German hostel or something. Like it wasn't even a real mattress; it was like 2 inches thick. So
that was right on the floor.
it was on the floor where you'd it'd go under another bed.
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean? Like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
pull,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
even
yeah,
a bunk
yeah,
bed.
yeah.
You pull it from under a bed, and
Funny.
yes,
My God.
his back is messed up. I'm sure it was the trundle
Your
bed.
brother slept in a drawer.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
So we usually do a question and answer where you guys ask us real estate questions, but we're putting a twist on it where we asked other real estate agents to send us questions to get answers. So we'll get into that. We've got somebody asking about they've had a house on the market for 60 plus days, and they're thinking of doing a broker's open, and they want to know what you thought of that. And maybe like also what is a broker's open?
So, probably going to make some people upset. So there's no shortage of brokers opens that take place during the week. Every single real estate agent, no matter which brokerage you're with, there's almost 3,000 real estate agents in Rochester, New York, and there's software platforms where you can send a mass email, whether it's through like a Constant Contact or something like that, because everybody's email information it's out there through the MLS, which is the Multiple Listing Service, and through our local board, Greater Rochester Association of Realtors. It's easy enough to compile that data and send mass emails out, and you get invited via email to a broker's open. I get text messages all the time from agents to attend their broker's open as well. I can't remember the last time that I did one. Probably a few years back. It was a real high-end house, and the sellers were really high maintenance, and they wanted to make sure that everything was being done, and we exhausted every effort to sell the house. And we do that, but I won't. I'm not a huge advocate. I'm not a huge advocate for brokers opens. Okay.
Is this an open house basically for real estate agents to come
yeah,
through?
it's an open house for real estate agents to come through. So back in the day, way before I was in the industry, pre-internet, right? So we're talking like up to 96, 1995. Yeah. The only way real estate agents and consumers were able to see houses were, you would hire a real estate agent, and the real estate brokerages, the offices, they would receive like the daily hot sheets, which were a printed out list of or a faxed list of the new homes on the market. So number 3 Happy Street just came on the market, listed by so-and-so. Here's the contact info. It's listed for $149,900. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's in the town of. So you really couldn't see the house. You couldn't say, oh, let me go and check the house out.
Sure.
And go on the MLS online. And the consumers didn't have all of these outlets like Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com.
They didn't have 70 pictures of the bathroom
Correct.
available? Okay.
Correct. So, with that being said, brokers opens were a way for the brokers to go and see these properties because that was their only way to go and see them. You couldn't pull up your phone, mobile device,
right,
or PC or laptop, whatever the case may be. So I see back then, I saw the value. I wasn't in those times. I just heard about them.
Yeah.
This wasn't 100 years
Sure.
ago, right? It was in the 90s, right? And previous too. So that was a way to get the agents in that area of where that home was to get in and see it. This way they could relay the message to their buyers who they felt it met their search criteria. And now, open houses are done online. Brokers opens, the broker has, you can see the photos online. You can get the years of, the mechanics, the roof, You can get you can see the pictures. You can get a general condition. So here's my take on the brokers opens and why I feel I don't do them. Number one, they're typically sponsored by a lender. So, I have my lenders that I work with, and number one, I hate bothering people.
Sure.
And typically what happens is you'll get the email, and so is holding a broker's open at such and such address on Wednesday from 12 to 2. Lunch will be provided. Lunch and beverages will be provided. And a $50 raffle gift card. So what you're doing is your lender/loan officer that you send your business to, they feel obligated. They're typically paying, they're spending up to potentially a couple $100 on feeding everybody that would come through.
Yeah.
And then the Brokers Open has feedback cards. And you write your name on the cards, and you give your opinion of the house. Overall condition. The big one is, what do you feel the home is worth? So I'd be hard-pressed to believe that less than 90% of the brokers' opens that are taking place today, and again, this is my opinion, although I feel that it's 100% true. I feel that a lot of these brokers' opens are motivated by the agent not being able to get the sellers to reduce the price. If you've been on the market for 60 plus days and the home hasn't sold, the market has spoken. These agents and brokers that are going to be coming through the property, they're not buying your house. So I would prefer to spend my time, efforts, and dollars on getting assets through the door to see the house. Pre-qualified buyers that are ready to purchase.
Right.
So if you're 60 days on the market, you have no offers, the market has spoken. The next conversation, right, is, okay, we've tested the market. The same components go into every sale. We have to know the demographics of the potential buyers, right? What their price points are, how many consumers are there in that price point. Is this a challenge in this town or in this school district, right? Because our market, although people say the market's super busy, yes, and in certain areas it's not, and in certain price points it's not. So you have to be priced better, and you have to look better than all of your competition. If you're priced better and you look better than your competition, the home is going to sell. So we want to get top dollar because we heard the market's good. Market is good, and you will get top dollar for what your home is worth today in this market. Doesn't necessarily mean that the home you bought 5 years ago for $150,000, but you changed the toilet and now you're listed for $180,000.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that the market shifted that much. So can you and will you get more than you paid for it? Yeah. If you bought 5 years ago, you're going to get more than you paid for it. I would say 99% of the cases. But I feel the motivation for the Brokers Open, again, is to collect these feedback cards and leave them for your sellers. This way, I'm not the bad guy.
Right.
Don't take it from me. They think it's worth less. Right? And then sometimes you're even coached at the Brokers Opens, hey, listen, I'm trying to get a price reduction from the sellers. Could you guys help me out with your feedback? So it's a tough thing, man. It really is.
A lot of work to tell your sellers, your client, that their house is priced wrong.
Yeah, Venmo me $100. I'll call your sellers. I'll talk them into a price reduction.
Sure.
I'm going to start a company.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
I mean, but more importantly out of this is that I can dress as a real estate agent and get free lunch and a $50 gift card to Circuit City now.
No doubt. No doubt.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
100%. No one would ever
I'm
know.
going to just start wearing a tie, and I'm going to look for all these things.
I say it all the time. You don't ever have to sell a house in real estate. You'll always get fed for free because there's so many different events, and there's a broker's open every single day you could attend. So, yeah, free lunch every day is a guarantee. Potentially breakfast.
Then you get the Panera gift card, and you're good.
Yeah, then you get the gift card. Yeah, you don't really have to sell any houses. You just got to work that angle.
Bacon turkey Bravo.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And then, when I remember when I was doing them, going back a few years, I remember that it was always the same agents that would go to all of them. And it really started to feel like
they're hungry. They're literally hungry.
And they wouldn't leave, and they wanted to talk. They wanted to talk for an hour after the broker's open was over. So again, I am not going to completely say that there is not a situation that warrants a broker's open, but the challenge for me is, we always talk about being most purposeful with your time. And you have to ask yourself if that's being most purposeful with your time, or should you spend 10 to 15 minutes making some compelling bullet points on a phone call that you make to your sellers, simply stating that here we are, we've been on the market 60 days, here's the traffic, we've had this many showings. Because a lot of times I'll get agents, they'll come and ask me, they'll say, listen, my sellers won't reduce the price because we've had 30 showings in like the first 2 weeks. So wait a second. You've had 30 showings in 2 weeks and the house hasn't sold?
Right.
That's even more of a reason to reduce it than the house that only had one showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had 30 at bats, but I've hit nothing.
And nobody wanted this house.
Yeah.
So that's problematic. That tells you that you're most likely substantially overpriced, or there's some unique situations where the home is just very dysfunctional and it has attributes that buyers can't look past, and there's attributes that can't be changed.
Yeah.
So I'm done bashing brokers open houses. I carry guilt because I do get invited to a lot of them, and my schedule is just not cut out to be able to carve. It's the travel time, it's the time that, you know what I mean? So you're carving a couple hours out of your day to attend and get there, and just so again, I time block my schedule it's very tight, so I have to be purposeful with my time.
All right, guys, some more questions from real estate agents. Someone is brand new to real estate. They're with another brokerage, but they want some insight on what they should be focusing on being a brand new agent.
You're with another brokerage.
That's the problem.
Yeah, ask them for help. No, I'm just joking. I have plenty of friends at multiple brokerages. So the question again was, they were brand new to.
Yeah, brand new to it, and they wanted some insight on what they should be focusing on being brand new.
Okay. Biggest problem I see with brand new agents is because of social media and the ability to contact people so easily, people have gotten away from databases. And databases are so important for your business. It's the foundation of your business. Your database will guard you from a market shift. Your database, once you have it and you refine it and you continue to build it, that is your book of business. Those are your clients, right? So to go into business and not establish who your potential customers are, right? You're heading down a dangerous path. I have seen agents that have found enough success to stay in the business because of the ability to communicate through social media. But in order to touch your database, we're really big at a 33-touch campaign. We preach it at KW. And a 33-touch campaign is a strategic campaign about how many times you should be touching your sphere of influence, meaning your database, people that would use you, right? And it consists of phone calls, calling your sphere, checking in, catching up. It consists of emails that go out, market conditions, some of the cheesiness, some of the cheesy ones, but people actually like people love like the fall events, winter events, spring events, the calendars, like holiday calendars for the year. Then I always make sure that I get my, like the football calendars out. So you get the team schedule. Those are magnets that go on the fridge. You want to be at top of mind. You want your sphere to not forget you. So when someone asks them, do you know of a good real estate agent, they don't think twice because you've been in touch with them. They receive emails from you. They receive things in the mail from you. If you're really good, you receive handwritten letters. Right? If you're brand new, my advice, and this is me coaching agents that are new in my company, your database. So there's no such thing. A lot of agents think that there's nothing to do when they start because it's slow when you start. Add 5 names a day to your database. Well, I don't know who to add. Listen, I'm not telling you need 1,000 names. Let's start with 100. Let's create that goal. It has to be time-bound or you won't do it.
Right.
So let's meet in 2 weeks. Here's the date. I just invited you on my calendar. And accept it. And that day you're going to come back with me with 100 names. That's going to be tough. I don't think I know of. I go, hold on. You've got 1,750 friends on Facebook. You can't come up with 100 names. I think that the agents are only thinking about friends and family. You need to add people that are acquaintances.
Yeah.
Those are people that would potentially use you, right? If they know of you, you know of them. You're not necessarily friends, but potentially friends of friends or run in the same groups of people. They need to get added to your database. And listen, it's 2018. Our data's out there. You could obtain their home address. You could obtain emails and phone numbers, so you can be strategic about adding them to your database. And what I do is I refine my database. So I have like my top 50 advocates for my business. These are people that go out of their way. If they hear someone talking about real estate, they'll butt into a conversation and say, hey, look it, you'd be foolish if you don't use Anthony and his team, and here's why. Right?
Yeah.
Those are advocates. Those are people where at the end of the year when you track where your business came from, the percentage, let's just take the percentage that came from my sphere, my database, 75% of those referrals, they always come from those same people that are constantly preaching your name. And those are the people you want to make sure whenever you're sending them something in the mail, you're dropping 10 business cards in that envelope as well because you know they'll hand them out.
Right.
Right? So start with your database. Lead with revenue. Just getting into the business and throwing money at things is not going to fix your business. It leaves you very vulnerable. And it doesn't end just being brand new. There are agents that are, they do a good amount of business, but they don't lead with revenue, and their margins are so slim that they have to wake up every day, grind it out before they even turn a profit because they're always buying new business. If you always have to buy new business through lead generation and marketing and advertising, it's not sustainable. You don't own a business, you own a treadmill, because the second you stop doing that stuff, your business is done. So the goal is to get to a point where you can say, okay, my goal for my business, I want to sell $5 million a year in real estate. Let's figure out how to get there, but let's figure out how we can get $4 million of it to come just from your database by you serving them, making sure that you're on top of them, making sure they're part of your touch email campaigns and all of that. So with technology, it's so easy to reach out to people today. Mm-hmm. So I would just say the most important thing to do and being most purposeful with your time. I know I'm beating that up, but I have to be with mine, so I always preach it. Build that database up, continue to add it. It's not just about your friends, it's about your friends' parents. It's about your friend's uncle and aunt. It's about your friend's siblings and cousins. Like, how do you spider web out to their friends and family?
Right.
And then when you do start doing business, make sure whoever you're doing business with, they would never consider using anybody else. And if you can achieve that, you will succeed. And I'm not saying not to spend any money on marketing, advertising, like lead generation, because that's the world we live in. I would just say to track it. And our rule of thumb here is to make sure that you're not spending more than 10% of your GCI. That's your gross commission. That's before taxes and overhead and all of that. Make sure you're not exceeding 10% on marketing / lead gen.
All right. We got one more question about somebody, real estate agent, trying to establish a budget for the upcoming year. They said they spent a lot of money on print ads last year, thinking of getting out of it. I'm wondering how much you spend on print and whether it's like effective or it works.
God, this show is going to be called The Jerk Anthony. My budget for print is $0.00. I have never had, well, I shouldn't say that. I'd say my first 2 years in the business, there were a few properties that I did put in some print advertising. I don't know if you guys have seen the weekend real estate section or the newspaper in general.
I haven't.
Of course you haven't,
right?
Right? Because print advertising is yesterday's news, right? In order for me to put my listing in the real estate section of our local newspaper publication, I don't want to throw names out there and get lawsuit letters, but they have a real estate section. That section used to be pretty thick, and people used to actually utilize that to see what inventory was out there. You have to get that ad in by like Tuesday or Wednesday for it to get in Saturday's paper. Like, what if the house sells before then? You're advertising this open house, yet it sells on Thursday. Now you're stuck holding an open house to a home that's actually sold.
Right.
So you're kind of false advertising the open house because it's not really available. Although a lot of agents will still hold the open house because they committed to it and they want to pick up more clients, not necessarily serving the sellers, but serving themselves. And I'm getting bad today. This is where I need Jason, because Jason's usually kicking me under the table right now. So to go back to the original question of how much should you spend on print, I love to be able to track things, right? So my ROI, the return on investment, I love to be able to track my ROI. Here's what I spent. Here's what I expect, right? If I'm not getting a 2x return on my investment, for every dollar I spend, I'm getting 2 back. That should be the absolute basement threshold for your ROI. I've had whether they're lead gen platforms or other trackable advertising, I've had as high as 15x return on my investment, right? But you have to pay attention to it because those ROIs, they can change quickly. So just because you're getting a 15x return today, you could track that in a month, and next month you could be getting a 3x return.
Sure.
Still profitable, but again, you have to be purposeful with the money you're spending. I do not at this point. And again, my team, we're going to sell 400 homes this year. That's our goal, and we're going to make it happen. I know we will. My print budget is $0.
Yeah.
We have a very good exposure online. If you go online, our profiles are very strong. I will invest in platforms that show the strength of the team and have a strength and have a powerful profile. My ROI is still good there, but there's certain internet platforms that are out there where my ROI 2 years ago was way higher than it is now, and this is budget time. November's, I have to have my budget for next year established by November. So we have some very big decisions, and as the team has grown and as the business has grown, every decision has grown, right? So if I could go back, I'm about 6.5 years in the business now. If I can even go back 3 years ago, if I made a bad decision, the repercussions were pretty marginal. But if I make a bad decision now and it affects my business 20% up or 20% down, that's pretty substantial when you're talking about 400 units, right?
Yeah.
So I have to be very strategic and do a lot of due diligence before I can make a decision on what I'm going to spend my marketing, advertising / lead gen. To me, it's all in one.
Yeah.
I don't discount the value of branding, but the internet has almost become the billboard of the old days, right?
Yeah.
You don't see many realtors on like billboards on 490. Sometimes you'll see them on like some off roads in certain areas if they own a certain town, if they do a lot of business in that area. I have a bus shelter with the team advertisement. And the reason I did that, I called on it a couple of years ago, and it was under contract. I said, well, can you put me on a waiting list? And the reason I did the bus shelter was because the Royal Car Wash went in right there on Ridge Road, and I found out the demographics, and you'd be amazed how many cars go through there a day. So this one specific bus shelter, which was priced the same as all of the bus shelters, I wanted the one because not only was I going to get the traffic going east and west, now every car that goes through that car wash, when you're going to pull out, you're looking straight into that bus shelter.
And you're getting clients that have enough disposable income to get a car wash, right?
Yes.
Sweet car wash money.
Yeah, I'm not selling too many houses to people taking the bus.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many times they've had to replace the...
Having a car and wanting it washed is a good
Exactly.
sign of a high income,
You
right?
could probably afford a house if
Yeah.
you're paying the monthly fee. I'm
Right.
obnoxious, though. I'm going through at least every other day.
The car wash?
Yeah.
In the summer?
Summer and
Yeah,
winter.
oh my God.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, you pay a flat fee every month.
Oh, okay.
Gotta get my money's worth.
I only do the car wash to entertain the kids. Like we'll go through the car wash.
What are we doing today, Daddy?
We'll go to the car wash.
Mommy's gone. What are we doing today? We're gonna go through the car wash.
I've done that so many times. Just like, hey, here you go, guys. Here's a show.
Then we're gonna go to the fish hatchery.
We'll go to get some Wendy's, it's dinner and a show.
Nice, Mark.
Yeah.
Father of the year.
Yeah.
Father of the year. So again, print advertising. Every year it loses its value. And here's who's looking for houses and waiting for it to come out in the paper? People that probably aren't buying homes, or the demographics that are reading that. Their next move is into assisted living or hospice, unfortunately.
I think it's in the grave.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the next
I
real estate.
didn't want to go that morbid. I kept it right in that fine line there. Hospice sounds so much better than grave.
Yeah, the grave.
So, with that being, you have to know who your demographics are. I would prefer that first-time home buyer who has friends that are first-time home buyers
Sure.
that are going to buy 4 houses throughout the span of their lifetime. And I want to get in front of them and impress them and have them turn into advocates to them and their friends who are, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you have to know your target audience, right?
Right.
So when we do like Facebook boosts for certain listings, if it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath colonial, I'm going to change the demographics of the age, because more likely you're not going to sell that 4-bed, 2.5-bath colonial to the 55-plus crowd. You want to keep that between 23 to probably 23 to 50. Maybe people are waiting.
Yeah.
People are waiting pretty long to have kids
Sure.
these days. So that's, you want to be specific about who you're trying to get to. And I see some agents, they'll go in like the coupon books, and when you're going into a coupon book, to me, the message you're sending is that you're the discount agent.
They'll
right?
put a coupon for
They'll do a credit. They'll give you a credit, and you cut the coupon out. And like, I don't know. I don't want to be next to the pizza coupons. That's not where I want to advertise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not saying that it has zero effect. Could you get a couple of phone calls? Yes. Remember also, though, who the demographics of those publications are, who's reading that.
Right.
Typically, those sit next to somebody's toilet for a while.
Yeah.
And why are you staring at my picture that long? So, again, I would just say be very smart about every penny you spend, and I would suggest spending it on something that you can track. I can't track that bus shelter, but I didn't discount the value of branding, right?
Right.
There is that net effect of branding. You know this person exists. You know this team exists. You don't know them, but they're out there, right?
Sure.
And that's why we're really big about client appreciation parties. We're really big about charitable events. We donate a lot of money every year to multiple charities. And I would rather get our name out there in that manner. At least your overhead that you're spending is going to a good cause. And I find that people love giving back to people that give back.
Sure. All right, cool. So, it's episode 34 of The Real Estate Show. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube, all that good stuff, just by going to AnthonyButerraTeam.com, click on the Real Estate Show tab. Follow us on Facebook, and we put in another podcast, or we do a podcast every week. We drop on Thursday. So, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show. Find us on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. If you're looking to sell or buy, talk to the Anthony Butera team of Keller Williams Realty, Greater Rochester. Visit AnthonyButerraTeam.com.